see the chat.
Yes, we're now live.
Hi!
Hello.
I had to refocus to where the camera was. Hello, I am Vera.
And I am Adrian. Welcome to Vera and Adrian Work From Home.
Hello. This is a weekly show.
Yes.
Definitely live.
We're week 5 this week, I think. Can you believe it? We've kind of circled back to the beginning. So for those of you who are new to Vera and Adrian Work From Home, it's like radio, first of all. Put us on in the background. We're talking about we're just chatting, essentially. It's a kind of chat show, isn't it, Vera?
It's a chat show, yeah. Sometimes we have guests.
Yeah. This week we're talking about music. Sometimes we talk about books. Sometimes we talk about film and TV. Sometimes we talk about food. And then, so we're going to check in with each other for a bit, and then we're going to talk about some music. And then from about 8 o'clock, we are going to answer any questions that you might have. So feel free, if you want to ask us questions, you have to sign into YouTube, and there's some kind of chat, right? Next to the YouTube.
On the right-hand side of the YouTube video, there's like a chat box. You have to be logged in. Yeah. So as you need to give your details, I'm afraid. Soz.
That's the way to do it.
Apparently, Soz doesn't sound genuinely apologetic. I actually, do you think?
It's a little bit dismissive, I think. Yeah, it sounds like.
Well, I meant it.
Okay, okay, I'll believe you. So yeah, you can ask us anything. You can ask us obviously about the music that we're talking about today. Which, should we tell them what it is?
Yes, so this is very dated. This is an album by Sting. Most of it's been recorded live, and it's called Bring On the Night. And it was made straight after the Police split up. So it was made in 1986, and I know that some of you may not have been born then, which is very exciting. 1986.
And he's described as Monsieur Le Sting on YouTube.
Where is he described as Monsieur Le Sting?
If you go to YouTube to watch the album, well, listen to it, there's not much going on the screen. But you sent me a YouTube link, and I clicked on it, and underneath it, or maybe actually on the graphic that's used for the screen, there's Monsieur Le Sting.
Oui. Because he was performing it live and mostly in Paris.
Oh, so that was just a live performance of an album that he'd already made.
And not all of it was, not everything. He opened the.
Why don't we save this for the
yes, okay.
The show,
guys, I've just. Wait, are there other housekeeping rules? Content warning.
Content warning. So we might end up talking about racial inequality and whiteness. Otherwise, there shouldn't be any bad language. There might be some accidental bad language, in which case we will apologize, but we will try not to.
I will say sorry and not soz. That's what I've done today.
To do a proper apology.
What else? And that we are being hosted by Omnibus Theatre, so thank you very much.
Very important. Lovely little theatre in Clapham, in South London. Beautiful space.
Neither of us live anywhere near it.
No, if only.
But our love for it is real.
And if you want to donate at any point, there is a donate button somewhere underneath the video, I think. So and that money is split between the Omnibus and us.
Yes, because they are really keen on supporting freelance artists, because they know what it's like. My gosh, my voice has not been warmed up, but that's okay. Oh, and there's going to be a surprise extra segment this week, so I'm excited about this.
Do I know what it is?
Yes.
Do I remember?
I emailed you about it.
Oh, yeah, I do remember. Yep, there is. Very exciting.
Great. Okay, so checking in.
Checking in. How are you doing, Vera?
I'm doing good. I feel a little bit adrenalized because before this, I did a Zoom call with my sister. She's my only sibling, and we did. We recorded this Zoom call because we're applying to enter Race Around the World.
Oh, okay. What's that?
It's a TV program. I don't know what channel it's on. but it's BBC because it's on iPlayer, right? That's how TV works these days.
I think so.
Yes. So basically, they've done 2 seasons. I've seen season 1. I haven't seen season 2. Apparently, it's amazing. And basically, it's pairs who race around the world, but they don't have phones or credit cards.
Oh, this rings a bell. Yeah, okay, I might have heard about this.
Yes, and so the nutshell is, I think it would be a lot of screaming and crying, but probably very good for my relationship with my sister if we survive it.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's assuming a lot. It'll be testing of your relationship with your sister. It might be good, it might be bad.
I think it will crack open all the sort of pretense or politeness. I think it can only do good, but the journey will be bumpy, put it that way.
And the idea is what you throw yourself on the kindness of strangers. Is that it?
You can, yes. Although I think in season 1, people tried to do it without talking to other people, which doesn't work.
Well, if you don't have any means of getting, or do you have cash?
You have cash.
Oh, I see.
But you've got a limited amount of cash.
A set amount of cash. Okay, I see. Yeah.
So yes, I'm adrenalized from having recorded that with my sister, and yeah.
Oh, did you record like an audition?
Yes, it was like only for 1 minute's worth of footage to go, how do we know each other and why do we want to do this?
Cool.
So it was like, ha ha ha, hoo hoo hoo, in 1 minute.
Perfect.
Yes, how are you?
Very good. I spent some time outside. It was ridiculously hot in my part of London today, and sunny. I'm very worried about, I have a rose bush, which I'm trying to grow.
Yes, I know all about this rose bush.
You do, but
I gave him the rose bush.
You didn't give it to me. You gave me the link.
Oh, fuck!
Oh,
no!
Not 5 minutes ago, we said we weren't going to do that. Okay, would you like to apologize for your bad language?
I'm very sorry about my...
Bad is a value judgment. Your strong language? Sorry, carry on.
Strong language. The use of the expletive. Is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah, that's how I would pronounce it. Yeah.
I'm so sorry. That's all.
Good. Okay. What was? Oh yeah. So you didn't give me the rose, but you gave me the cornflower seeds. So I'm also growing cornflower seeds, cornflower plants. So I have now. They're down to 3. I had to keep weeding them out because the pots are so small and they need 8 inches of space around them.
But why did you put them in such small pots?
Those were the pots I had.
Why didn't you put like fewest seeds per pot?
Oh, I wasn't sure they were all going to grow. I wasn't very confident about them.
Right.
Yeah, if I did it again, yes. I would put 1 seed in each pot.
I tend to do 2 and then I kill the smaller one, which is really...
I know, that's like...
It's really... Kill the smaller one, you're like...
It's not necessarily the less fit plant. Like, I remember learning about grass at school. Small grass is very handy for when the cows come along and eat the big grass. The small grass is still alive. It's perfect, has perfect fitness.
I suppose the more aggressive plant will have... Anyway, whatever.
So yeah, but the point is, because we've got 2 minutes before we start talking about Monsieur Lestine, I have a rose. I also have a rose bush. So you sent me the link to the place where I got the rose bush.
Yes, I did.
They sent it to me, and it's a beautiful, like it's going to have beautiful flowers. It has 1 already, and 2 more like struggling out. And it had a big aphid infestation last week, and I picked off the aphids with my fingers. And
with your fingers?
Yeah, because I didn't want to treat it in any way. I didn't want to treat the plant, and I'm already worried that I'm
watering
too much. What do you mean, why?
Why didn't you want to treat it? You can have like organic treatments. Why did you have to use your fingers?
It just seemed like a good solution.
See, he looks like the nice one, but he's not.
No, well, it's also an inefficient way of dealing with it, which I thought was a good thing, because that will leave some aphids on the plant for, first of all, for ladybirds to eat, but also aphids deserve to live too. I mean, I don't want lots of them on my rose bush, but I think they deserve the chance to escape. That's what I was thinking.
Wait, hang on. So if you treated them with chemicals, all of them would die. But if you go in with your
it's a fairer fight, it seems to me. They have a better chance of hiding. In any case, that's Rosebush chat done now because it's 20 to 8. It's time to talk about today's topic, which is Monsieur le Sting et les tortues bleues, the blue turtles.
No.
Or the blue tortoises.
No, Bring on the Night. The whole album. Yeah. We're talking about the whole night. The whole album.
It's by Monsieur le Sting and les tortues bleues, isn't it?
Not
you know more about it than I do.
Wait. I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that on the album cover. Let it be known that Adrian likes structure.
Yes.
I think I had this album on a cassette. Again, very old school.
1986.
I lost that. I think I had the DVD. I had the documentary on a VHS.
Wow.
Which I had used to record it. I think maybe even when I was living in Malaysia. So that's a long time ago.
You recorded it off the TV?
Yeah. That was my first encounter with it. And I don't know why I recorded it. Or probably I started recording it after it started because I was like, oh, this looks good. And then over the years, I have bought various copies of the DVD and lost them or given them away. And so I have spent a lot of money on this album. But now, people at home, you can access it on YouTube. Sting, Bring on the Night.
Yeah.
So Sting is... Why don't you interview me in French?
Parce que tout le monde ne parle pas le français qui nous écoute, Vera.
Say that again.
Yeah, même toi. So not everybody speaks French, Vera. That's why I'm not going to.
No, but I
realize we might have some French-speaking listeners, but it's not.
No, but I
Vera and Adrian Work From Home isn't primarily aimed at non-English speakers, is it?
No, but I don't speak French, and so I want to know whether our friendship can transcend language.
I see. Okay, can we do that another time?
Okay, sure.
I feel like it might be a slightly frustrating 20 minutes.
No, it wouldn't have to go on for 20 minutes. We'll try it for like a...
Okay. Qu'est-ce que tu... also, my French is not of the best anymore. Qu'est-ce que tu aimes en particulier en ce qui concerne cet album, Vera?
Because I'm very interested in Sting as a person, as a figure. I think people really liked him when he was with the police, and
super cool dude.
I don't really know much about the police. I know they had all their songs were like ching 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 ching, basically.
Yeah.
That was it.
Right.
Good songs to sing along to, but essentially the same. No hate mail, please, thank you. But then he was super cool because he was helping some people in the Amazon forest.
Mm-hmm.
You know, before it became a thing of like save the rainforest, he was like right in there with, is this the correct terminology? The indigenous people in the Amazon forest.
Mm-hmm.
I look to you to check
I'm
me.
The expert, but that sounds reasonable. Mm-hmm.
And then he fell out of favor because I think there was some controversy about where the money went. He was collecting money for the people in the Amazon, and then there was like, ooh, maybe he's pocketed the money himself. But also, a lot of people think he's pretentious. Yes.
Wasn't there a court case where he hadn't realized that his financial advisor had stolen £2 million from him or something?
That sounds familiar.
He was ridiculed for that because everyone was like, how do you not notice £2 million going missing? But I think that was just an excuse to bash him a little bit.
I think if you have me as your PA, that would be quite easy.
To lose £2 million? Okay, that's not so, yeah, okay.
Oh,
let's employ Vera.
Don't swear, Vera. No, as in, no, this is old Vera. Old Vera who used to work with millionaires and very rich people, and I know how they don't really check their bank statements.
Yeah.
And so not that I would take the money, it's just that I would not, because they're not checking, I'm not checking. So who's checking?
Right, absolutely. And when you have millions and millions and millions of pounds, it gets very complicated, because it's not like that's just in your bank account sitting there and you check the balance every day.
No, it's not like you go to the
up and
ATM.
down,
It's like
the value changes, doesn't it?
Can you imagine if you had a Monzo and you're like 6 billion, and then you're like, you could lose a couple of tens of thousands, and you might not, maybe, even with my Monzo.
Well, no, if you had it on Monzo, they would be like, there would be the green circle with the thing, and it tells you how you're doing on your monthly budget.
That is true.
Like, you're spending a bit fast this month into this thing.
Yes.
You want to slow down.
So
Elton John got into trouble for spending too much money on flowers, didn't he? He had to slow down on his flower spending.
Who?
Elton John.
Oh, right. But then people love Elton John because he's a flamboyant gay.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah, he's gone in and out of favor, I would say.
Oh, you reckon?
Sting also, this is a bit like, I don't know. He's also been ridiculed for, I think, various things about his lifestyle, and perhaps unfairly, because his wife Trudy Styler says some odd things.
Oh, we're talking about Sting again. No, I want to just clarify on Elton John. When I watched the movie, I hadn't realized how much of a musician Elton John is.
Which movie? Rocket Man?
Yes.
Okay, I haven't seen Rocket Man.
So Sting, yes, what did Trudy do?
Oh, she just occasionally she says ridiculous things. I'm not really sure exactly what, but I think she also comes across as a little bit out of touch with reality.
Right. Well, we're not going to go into the realm of like gossip and hearsay, but what's interesting, I'm interested in figures who have reputations, or who become, what's the word, like avatars, or I used the word earlier, but I don't remember it now. Figures. And he was also ridiculed for tantric sex.
Yes.
Oh, that would be a reference to sex, sorry.
Content. Yeah, we should probably say yes.
But
I used the word lifestyle, which is very naughty of me, but that was because I knew that we hadn't specifically warned people that we might end up talking about sex.
I don't remember when you used the word lifestyle.
Oh, it was just like 2 minutes ago, but that's
I see.
I'm the interviewer today, so I'm the one who needs my brain in gear. You should talk to us more about cet album, Into the Night?
Bring on the Night.
Bring on the Night. Bring on the Night.
Yes, it is really, sorry.
Yeah, tell us more about why you like it.
It has an incredible, one thing about the documentary, which you can also watch, I'm sure, on YouTube, he talks about rock and roll, because like basically after he left the police, this band he put together was like jazz musicians and himself. And the jazz musicians were African American. I guess they were all American. Yes. Incredible, like top standard. Kenny Kirkland, Branford Marsalis, guy on a bass who I don't remember, but was like really top level. 1, 2, 3 men, 2 women, so 5 African Americans and Sting. And they were all from a jazz background, and he was a rock and roll, like he was in the, I don't know whether I would call police as rock and roll, but he's like, this is rock and roll. And he talks about, with rock and roll, you have to burn from the very first beat.
Oh, interesting. Okay. And
that phrase has always stuck with me.
Yeah.
It's sort of, for me, it also applies to like, I guess, any live performance. And burning doesn't mean loud or fast. It's like, it's just something that's like, it captures, it's like, and then it sustains itself, right?
Yeah, but that's interesting, because I wouldn't agree with you that it applies to all live performance either. Like, I think that's, I think there are some forms that would allow you to sit for, like, it's what I say about improvisation, performance improvisation, that it doesn't need to burn from the beginning, that maybe you need to sit with it for 5 minutes, 10 minutes before it starts to become interesting. And yeah, that.
But I suppose maybe that's a slow burn. It's like something catches. You can't just like flop onto the stage.
Right.
Although now this is unpicking my argument slightly, or his argument, because he was contrasting it to jazz, where, no, I think it still holds up, where you start with energy, but then you kind of go off and you discover stuff, and then it's sort of like happens.
Okay, maybe the payoff happens later.
Mm.
Yeah, maybe, because I would talk about, I suppose, how much patience you need to have before things hit you. But I think you're right, actually. I'm going to change what I said. I think you're right. Any kind of performance needs to at least start. Yeah, you can't just flop on without any kind of, you need to be there, even if the audience doesn't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I think I reacted very badly against a show once where I could see the actor walking on, and I was like, I hate this show already.
Right.
Because I suppose the way you're into structure, I'm really into like technical things, technical grounding of like, you need to know when the show starts.
Yeah, I agree with you, absolutely.
Because you're bringing something to the audience.
Yes.
Anyway, so I okay, fine. I find Sting sexy.
Okay. We pushed you to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm not going to hold it against you, Vera.
Okay. But also, when you watch a documentary, I didn't realize he was like, I was also a child growing up in Malaysia. He's like from a working class area, right? Like Newcastle. He talks about living by the docks and seeing these big ships.
Yes.
And that narrative you find a lot in sort of American stories of like small town, suburb stuff, or Australian movies. But you don't hear of it much in England. Yeah,
there are lots of artists and musicians who use that as a who come from that, I think, but there are not so many superstars. Probably it's not part of our national myth in the way that is, I would say, in America.
But also the whole sort of like making something of yourself is seen as pretentious, which is why I'm interested in him, because
he's got above his station.
Yes, I'm an immigrant, and he's like, that's the kind of thing that working class people, I don't know, because I'm outside the class system, and immigrants, I think there's an aspiration.
Yes.
And he was very, the way he was framed, he was like in a library, and he was wearing like one of those, what's those jumpers with the diamonds?
Oh, Pringle? No.
Pringle is the brand of, but like that kind of pattern. And he was like there with his shirt and his woolen jumper, and he was talking about being pretentious. And I was like, I'm not sure you're doing yourself any favors. And if this is you and you're being true to yourself, then...
It's a good question about who is allowed to sit in their diamond jumper in a library and talk pretentiously. Because there are plenty of people who are allowed to do that without being accused of being pretentious.
And I guess I have always had a soft spot for people who like self-made, and I'm like, against the odds kind of stuff. Right. And so this album is such an amazing, musically, because I know a little bit about music, it's such a wonderful blend of rock and roll and jazz. And I love that it's a live album, because that's... I just saw a comment, but we'll come back to that later. What was I saying? There's so much skill in the jamming bit, and because I've come to understand improv, it comes from a place of trust and of respect and giving each other space. So it's all these people who are from disparate parts of the world and culturally, because I watched a documentary, you see them talk about what they did before Sting, and the two backup singers weren't, I think one definitely wasn't a professional musician. She was like an artist who had like, Yeah, so it was like quite a mix of people, and it also shows the way he was composing, and so the energy that was in it. Also, he didn't release the album before doing the tour, so nobody knew the songs. He just went, right, I'm doing this massive concert in Paris. No one knows the songs. It's going to be with like new musicians they've never heard of.
And not at all what you're expecting from
not
the
at
man who's come out of
all
the police.
like the Police.
Mm.
And I'm like, my goodness, that's the kind of thing I would do if I had the clout and the money. And
Right.
that's where we come to talk of like slight privilege, because one of the musicians in particular was like, oh, you know, this is Sting's band. We are not equal collaborators. He's the rock and roll star. We're at the top of our game in jazz and whatever, but we're still, and I think he alluded to, I don't think he ever alluded to his skin color, but he was just like, we're not stars. But that also could be because you don't have jazz musician stars.
These days, I mean, yeah, within the jazz world you do, of course, but they're not household names, are they, in the same way?
No. Sorry, I've just been monologuing.
That's all right. I mean, it gives me less to do.
But did you want to ask me about anything in particular?
Well, so I haven't really heard much of the album. I listened to a few tracks and I liked it. I really like his voice on this.
I love his voice.
I think he sounds great. I think that in the music, I need to listen to it more to really hear it, I think. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. So I don't have anything intelligent to ask about the music itself because I don't know it well enough.
Let me just, what is not on the album, but it is on the end of the documentary, is his acoustic version of Roxanne.
Okay.
And like with the Police, it's ching, 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 ching. Whereas when you do it acoustically with his voice, it is just incredible. And also, it's a very socially conscious album, which is another thing people probably went, because he talks about the miners, he talks about working class people, he talks about, the working classes.
Does he talk about the docs in this album?
I don't think so. I think that was in another album.
Because I didn't know that until recently. I think somebody did a project about that other album not that long ago. Is that right? Is that how I came across it? Anyway, sorry, no, carry on.
Yeah, and so again, that seems maybe a bit pretentious to be singing about the workers. But that's, I guess, how people criticized Russell Brand. They're like, Russell Brand in his big house.
Right.
But I'm like, well, I am not a person, no. I suppose, I think we don't have to have the solution in order to ask the questions or to be critical.
Right.
And also, if you've worked really hard, okay, well, this is a classic Wallace Shawn Fever argument.
He's an American playwright and performer.
Yeah, can you explain?
No, I don't.
Okay, so basically Wallace Shawn is this American playwright. You might know him as the voice of somebody in The Princess Giant.
Oh, the Princess.
He's
in the Princess. Oh wait, Princess Diaries.
Princess Bride.
Princess Bride. Sorry.
Princess Giant.
Anyway, the Princess Bride. Yeah.
Yes.
He's the short guy who drinks the poison.
He always does. He always does like little funny man voices. But he's an incredible writer, and he wrote this 90-minute monologue about what do you do if you've got possessions and if you've got privilege. Do you give it all away? Is that how you help the world? Or do you? And then what to do about your own needs? And so,
how much is enough? That's one of the questions, isn't it?
How much is enough?
Like how much is enough in terms of what you have, but also how much is enough in terms of what you do.
And what are you allowed to enjoy?
Right. Because I was thinking what you were saying about Sting. We've only got a minute left, but is this and Russell Brand as well. Like you have this problem of you need a platform in order to be heard, in order to make change happen. And as soon as you have that platform, you're seen as privileged and silenced on that basis. That's something that I think happens quite a lot.
Yeah.
Same with, you know, Chelsea Handler, your fave.
Lena Dunham.
Yes.
Basically,
not to say they're not problematic, some of these people all the time, but the criticism is often, how dare you, you're so comfortable, you shouldn't be talking about discomfort or poverty or, you know, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I think is, yeah, not, well, it's a cheap way to shout someone down, I think.
Yeah, I guess I admire people who who are always trying their best, even though they know it's unpopular.
Right. And to a certain extent, they don't need to. That's also, I think, counts in their favor.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they do. I don't know. Maybe that's something I can't judge.
Yeah, we can't judge whether or not they want that extra attention.
That's true.
Philosophical questions.
Should we answer some questions?
Let's answer some questions, guys.
Respond to some. It's lovely that so many of you are commenting this week.
Yeah.
I have like a little eye on it. I find it quite difficult to keep up with what everyone is typing, and I refuse to log on. I'm not participating in this, because my YouTube account is tied to Ms. Samantha Mann, my alter ego, and so I would have to change it all around in order to.
And you can't set up a new YouTube account.
Of course I can. I just don't want to.
Okay, fine. You're lazy. Great.
Yes.
So, is it my birthday? No, it's not. But it's my birthday week. So happy birthday, me.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I got a really fantastic card today. I'm going to show you. He didn't want to admit he didn't know the rules. And that kind of reminds me of me, because I am always trying to like fit in and please people. But at the same time, I'm also the person who asks all the stupid questions. Like I went to a poetry class and I asked, what is a verb? And
I feel like you're someone who is not scared to ask those questions.
I think it depends.
Okay.
Surprise segment. Oh yes, we'll come to that.
It's gonna come.
BBC Two. Okay, great.
Oh wait, birthday. While we're talking about your birthday, we should clear up for anybody who watched last week. There was no duck, isn't that right, Vera?
There was no duck. I didn't try very hard to find duck. I'm trying to eat less meat because I can. I've got a really fabulous greengrocers. It was shut for a few weeks during lockdown. Anyway, I did not buy a birthday duck.
Good for the ducks. I think Kevin doesn't like Sting. Is that why? Is that why he wrote my ears?
No, it's because I swore.
Oh, okay, yes.
Kevin is a very tender peach. Didn't I work as a financial manager? No, but I did have a job title called finance executive. No, executive something. It sounded much fancier than it was. Let's not go into that.
Okay.
Hi, Lisa from California. Questions. What? What first attracted me to ultra rich Sting?
Yeah, it's kind of a Miss Merton reference, I think.
The what?
It's a Miss Merton reference.
Is it?
Mrs. Merton, sorry, Miss Merton, Mrs. Merton. Yeah, like one of the most quoted and repeated Mrs. Merton moments is when she asks Debbie, oh goodness, Debbie McGee, what first attracted her to multimillionaire Paul Daniels.
Right.
It's an interesting TV moment because it's a beautiful comic moment, but it's also hugely shaming.
No.
It kind of is. Basically, she's accusing Debbie McGee of being a gold digger.
But in seriousness or in jokey jokes?
Well, I think it works like because I think the perception of Debbie McGee was that she married Paul Daniels,
Oh,
his
okay.
brother.
I don't
Because,
know who Debbie McGee is, so.
oh, you didn't grow up watching. Yeah, Paul Daniels was a huge figure on children's TV when I was growing up.
Wasn't he in Park Life or something?
Park Live?
Blur's video, or
Oh, maybe. I don't know. I didn't know that.
you know, the guy who's talking over Park Life, blah, 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 Park Life, that guy. Is that not Paul Daniels? I don't know. I didn't grow up in this country. I don't know who they are.
He's a magician. Well, he died, but he's a magician who did a lot of, he did some very successful children's TV, and Debbie was his assistant, and then she married him.
Well, you see, having been an assistant, it's very easy to fall in love with your boss and your boss to fall in love with you because it's a nice relationship.
Plus, I think like the external judgment was that Paul Daniels was not attractive as a kind of personality on TV. He didn't have the traits that are considered attractive. Plus, he's older than Debbie McGee. But yeah, that denies that they have a relationship which is of, you know, real person to real person.
What about the Beatles? Lisa says in reply to Sting as a
class people.
Geordie. The Beatles were from Liverpool, so different accent. Also, they had.
And yeah, I suppose maybe the difference is it wasn't what they wrote music about particularly, because you were talking about people, American musicians, Australian musicians making music about like where I came from. Isn't that right? Something
well, just a narrative of like in movies. I didn't say music, but in the narrative of like bettering yourself.
Oh,
or
I see.
Like,
okay.
You know, I think you have to fancy Sting to find that documentary interesting. I disagree. I think I really like it for the music because you see how I'm interested in the process, right? As an artist, and you see him composing and you see him getting to know the people he gets to play with, and it culminates in this like amazing footage of the concert, which which is great.
Is it anything like the documentary on Beyonce's Coachella concert?
I didn't watch more than a few minutes of that because I found it quite oppressive.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
You know how you were explaining how everything is like edited so amazingly?
Yes, it's
because it's so tightly choreographed, and I think that is amazing.
Yeah,
but I wanted to see the more human stuff, and I'm sure that comes later, but it took a while.
Yeah, it was quite, I felt like the whole thing was quite tightly controlled. There were some really nice moments.
Yeah.
Yes, that's my criticism of that, is that it's too flawless. But that's the whole like thing in itself around perception of you know, race and class and so on. So
that's interesting. Yeah, because like I suppose Taylor Swift's documentary and Lady Gaga, they all kind of like, you see the behind the scenes, they're in pain, they don't have makeup, you know, you see their family and they're like real people and and that makes them more accessible. Of course it's curated.
Yes, and that's also a function of privilege, isn't it? That's like the white person who is who is flawed is perfectly okay, but Beyonce has to deal with so much criticism anyway to do with not being perfect. Yeah, it's too big a topic for my little experience and information. But yeah, anyway, that was kind of a silly question. But the documentary was good, essentially. That's what you were saying.
Yes.
Yeah, then there's a lot of discussion about jazz musicians who are famous. Yeah, Miles Davis is definitely, I would say, a household name, but that's the point. I think there have been jazz musicians who were household names, but more recently, Jamie Cullum is a good one. Yeah, I think.
Would you call what Jamie Cullum does jazz?
I mean, he's in the family of jazz, isn't he? I don't know.
He's in the family of jazz. We'll do that. Oh, yeah. Lisa was talking about working class. I don't fancy any old working class person.
just a particular.
Just to be clear.
Upset.
I sound upper middle class because I come from, that wasn't a question, why do I sound upper middle class? It was just a statement.
Mhm.
And I would like to say that I come from Malaysia, where I was brought up to speak the Queen's English. And so I would actually speak like this, which is much more upper class. Instead of speaking like this, like, and it's because I come from a, don't swear, colony. There you go.
Yeah, you have in my knowing of you sounded more American at times.
Yes. Probably because from television and I lived with Americans for a while. Also, people always assume that I went to international school. No, I went to a bog standard government crappy school where like there were 45 kids in a classroom and all that. How am I privileged? I got to go to a really good government school. How am I privileged? How am I privileged, Adrian? I don't have dark skin. I look like a relatively person next door kind of person with a lot of makeup or with some makeup. I look attractive to some people quite easily. I have had a lot of education. I am able-bodied, not so much with the mental health. I am, there's so many ways that I'm privileged and there's so many ways where I'm not privileged, correct?
Yeah, I would say so.
would
I
say
think it's
so.
always like it. Yeah, that's it's an interesting question because I think it's really important, but it's also, it's tricky because a list of privilege is as it can sound like showing off, I think, and then when you're like, I'm not privileged in every single way, I think that's like, it's true for everybody. Yeah, I'm privileged in that I'm white, I'm male, and also a male passing. I'm wealthy, I'm educated, I have a lot of familiarity with people who are, in positions of power. Like, that doesn't faze me particularly. Yeah, that would be some of my list. I'm able-bodied, but it's tricky, isn't it? Because then, I don't know, then I feel like I want to get into all of the like, one way of being disprivileged isn't more important than another way of being disprivileged, and I'm so aware of the ways in which that discussion becomes fractious and unhelpful.
I'm
But
like starting to type a response to like, I went to Oxford. Yes, I went to Oxford. And I'm like, but this. I'm just deleting my reply because, I mean, I've already posted one reply, but I'm deleting the rest because, yeah, I got there and you don't know how I got there. So,
yeah,
and you don't know how I paid for it. But, I think it's people who think that they have no privilege. That's difficult.
yes,
It's not like what is it? Olympics?
Yeah, exactly.
Oppression Olympics. We don't want to get to like, I'm more disadvantaged than you are. I mean,
and it's contextual, of course. Like, privilege in one room doesn't necessarily translate across to every room that you might be in, and some rooms have more impact than others.
Absolutely.
So that, that's important.
Wait, can we, so those are all the questions. The news segment.
Oh, the news segment, because we have 2 minutes left.
Okay, so I'm going to do a bad joke per week. And this one came courtesy of Susie Wilson, who I met at Oxford.
Okay.
What do you call a magic dog?
I don't know, Vera. What do you call a magic dog?
Let me get this right. A labracadabrador. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. If you'd like to donate to the Omnibus and to us, have a look at the link below. Every little helps.
The Omnibus is super, super worth supporting. They're amazing people.
Yeah, it's a building that doesn't just program random stuff to get ticket money, which doesn't cover costs anyway. It's a building that's full of people with a lot of love, who create a safe space for a lot of other people.
And you feel that when you go in. When we roll it back in again, we will feel it again.
Yes, and that is why I travel so far to go there when I'm allowed to go there.
It's worth
It
it.
is not convenient for me. Next week it is Food Week.
Food Week. Okay, I have no idea how that's going to go.
We don't know.
We'll see.
And I'm going to type out, I did it last week, I'm so sorry. Message me if you're very angry, but I didn't post the links to the things we referred to last week. So I will try to do it this week. And that's all from me, folks.
And all from me, it's, thank you so much for listening and watching along. It's lovely.
Live every week.
Bye.
Bye.